don't need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
My question comes from Carrie from Clayton, North Carolina. All right, Carrie writes, "Hi, Betsy. I'm a brand new listener. I stumbled upon your podcast by what I now believe is fate. My husband and I and our 16-month-old daughter just bought our forever home. I really want to make this home feel special since we have moved around a lot before this. However, the master bedroom is a real head scratcher for me. There's a very low to the ground, large off-center window. It's a beautiful window and I love all the natural light. But how do I make this room feel balanced with such an unbalanced placement of this window? And with the window being so low to the ground, I can't put anything in front of it without losing precious sunlight. Is that right? All I plan on having in this room will be our bed, end tables, a desk, and a dresser. I love your eye for these things and I'm open to anything you have to say. I'm ready to play around with anything, curtains, paint, furniture layout. I have been mulling this design conundrum in my head for a while, which is why I believe it is fate that I found you. Thank you for making the world more beautiful, Carrie." Well, Carrie, I'm happy to help and welcome to the podcast. I hope you enjoy the episodes. Dig right in. We've got over 300 for you to enjoy. And if you become a premium member, we've got nearly 75 more. So tune in because there's a lot of content coming your way. However, in all those episodes, I have never seen a window this large and off-center. You know, it almost makes me think that maybe they added a master suite later, or maybe the architect was, I don't know, off his rocker when he created this, because it is a really beautiful large window that is right on this wall that's large as well. Like, I'm just going to guesstimate because I really love guesstimating. I just love that. That's how I get my kicks. So I'm going to say that the window is 6 to 7 feet wide, and it is really in the corner of this wall. It's just 2 inches off the corner. And then on the other side of the window is another 6 to 7 feet of wall. So it is so awkwardly placed because not only does it have 3 different breaks, right? But also it has a half circle at the top. So it's quite a grand, large, visually powerful window that would normally be the centerpiece of any master or living room. And instead, it's the corner piece, if you know what I'm saying. It's very strange. Nobody should put baby in the corner, as we know from Dirty Dancing, and nobody should put an extra large and semi-ornate window in the corner. It really leads me to believe that they added this half bath or full bath later or something strange. But the room is a really great size and has a lot to offer otherwise. In fact, I'm a little bit jealous because my primary bedroom does not have an ensuite bathroom. So just jealous. I wouldn't mind having an off-center window if I had a luxurious soaker tub. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of primary bedroom, this was only brought to my attention a couple of months ago by our amazing content writer, Sue Ellen, but she let me know that we don't say master bedroom anymore. We say primary bedroom. So I think that that is something good for us all to know. It's something that I've been learning, you know, as we become more aware socially and just more PC. I didn't know about this primary bedroom thing until a couple months ago, but I want to share it with all of you so that way when I'm reading your emails, I don't have to translate it to primary bedroom because it's hard enough for me to remember. And so there we go. Now we'll all remember to call the former master bedroom the primary bedroom. Okay, let's dig right in. So I have some great pictures here that give me a really good sense of the room. And I love that you also sent a little sketch, which is quite helpful. Now, typically, the biggest piece of furniture would go on the longest unbroken wall. And that's certainly the case with the bed, right? It's probably going to be a king, right? And so unbroken means that it doesn't have windows, it doesn't have doors, it doesn't have openings. In other words, I would not put the bed on the wall with the window because it's going to look crazy. Why put a big bed off-centered of a big window, even if it's going to be centered on this wall? Plus, to make matters worse, there's 2 floor vents. And of course, they're not centered on this window either. So one is kind of in the corner over by the window corner, and one is on the right-hand side, maybe 3 or 4 feet away from that corner. So they're kind of awkwardly placed, asymmetrical. Again, makes me wonder, what was the architect thinking? I say that a lot with my clients. What was the architect thinking? But we're going to take what's there and make it better. That's what I do. Okay, so we know that the bed is not going on that wall, and I like to use process of elimination. Those of you who've taken my academy know that I spend 2 modules outlining how I create the floor plan for a room. And so it's very difficult to quickly summarize it on a podcast, but you want to try all possible options. And in this room, it doesn't seem like there are that many options, right? Because of course, we're not going to put the bed on the wall with the bathroom door. We're not going to put the bed on the wall with the walkway because that's a broken wall, right? It has the opening for the walkway. So the door that's kitty corner from the walkway, according to your hand-drawn sketch, is going to be the perfect place to put the bed, and it's going to be the best feng shui, because ideally you want the bed kitty corner from the main point of access so that when you walk in, you can clearly see the bed, and from bed, you can clearly see who's walking in, right? Okay. Now, we've solved the problem of where to put the bed, and we know we're not going to put it anywhere near funky window. But what do we do with funky window? You mentioned, Betsy, I can't block it, and that is totally untrue. You can block windows, especially large windows, right? Don't worry about obstructing some of the light. So much light comes through that it would be totally fine. That being said, I would probably block it with something that's small and inconsequential, because putting a desk in front of there, as you guys can see if you're watching on our YouTube channel or if you're looking at the show notes at affordableinteriordesign.com/podcast, you can see that as you're walking down the hall, walking into the bedroom from the door, you can clearly see this window. I think it would be a great opportunity to put an upholstered bench that's maybe 4 feet long and just add sort of that window bench feel. I would also add window treatments to this window, not just because I like to sleep in total blackout, but also because I think that it will help this to look less unfinished, less awkward. So I would put a rod. I'm trying to decide, because with these windows that have a half moon shape or half circle shape on top, there's 2 ways you typically dress them. Either you put the rod under the half moon so that it spans the entire length of the windows below, which are wider than that half circle shape. Or you get a really long rod and put it above the half moon shape. In either case, you're going to have drapes that go all the way down to the floor. The good news about these off-center awkward drapes is if you use my 4-foot bench and if you have drapes that go all the way to the floor, they're not going to obstruct those vents, because we definitely don't want anything covering those, because that's probably how you're getting your AC and your heat. And we don't want this room to become cold or hot. If this were my room, because the windows are high, but not so high, like it looks like about 8 to 9 feet high versus 14 feet high, because it's only 8 to 9 feet, I think, oh, and also because I like blackout. I don't know if you like blackout, but I cannot sleep with any natural light. Like, I need total blackout in the primary bedroom. So I would do a nice long rod that goes above the half moon shape, extends the entire length of the window, but has very small finials or end caps, because this window is just inches away from the corner. So you don't want the edge of the rod to be touching the perpendicular wall. You want at least an inch gap there. Then, because I like them to shut, I would be doing double wide panels, because you want double the width of drapery that you have width of window. So say this window was 100 inches long. It's not, but say it was. Each of your 2 panels should be 100 inches. So that's just a rough window primer. But anyway, I would do blackout double wide curtains that go all the way to the floor and are above the half moon window. Look at this. On your very first question to this podcast that you've just discovered, Carrie, I've solved all your problems. Now, in terms of where you put the ancillary pieces of furniture, like the desk, like the dresser, well, it really depends. You could off center the bed so that the wall next to the door as you enter could potentially have the desk. That would be sort of my feeling. So as you enter the room on the right hand side, you'd have the desk. If we're going counterclockwise, you'd have the nightstand, the bed, the nightstand. Then you have a piece of wall leading to that strange window. And then on the wall opposite the bed, I would put a long low dresser with a TV question mark. I don't currently have a TV in my bedroom, and twice this week I have regretted it. I just want to go in my bedroom, watch horrible shows like 90 Day Fiancé, Married at First Sight. Those are my jam. And I want to fall asleep instead of falling asleep in the recliner downstairs while I watch 90 Day Fiancé and Married at First Sight. You know what I'm saying? So I've solved all your problems on one of your very first episodes. Imagine how many problems I will solve as you listen to our entire archive. A big thank you to Aton and the Embassy who wrote our theme song. A shout out to Catherine Heller who owns the podcast shop and is our editor extraordinaire. We also want to thank Ginny Sunasan and her team at the Savvy Podcast Agency for their help with our social, our YouTube channel, and so much more. We also want to thank Uploft, which is our parent company who supports this podcast. And lastly, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support.